I mean, I was just going to say maybe Three Little Fishes could be invited onto this show.
Okay, so I'm not ever going to be on Dancing with the Stars or like The Voice or America's Talent or anything like that because I'm not coordinated enough for anything.
Peter and I did take a dancing class. We have taken a dancing class before we got married.
I just love this so much of how much you've gotten Peter to do. Like, Peter doesn't cook, but yet
he never says no to Kathy.
he went
to Kathy can ask for anything.
That is not true.
Welcome to Three Little Fishes. We're three sisters who grew up in the Midwest together, but have since spread across the country. I live in Los Angeles.
I'm in Nashville.
And I live in Philadelphia. We are all married with children. We've all had careers, but now we stay at home with our families.
We've all been through ups and downs that come along with life and have always helped each other through, shared stories, and laughed together.
We welcome all of you into our daily conversations and hope you have some fun with us.
So let's jump in.
What's up, fishes?
What's up?
Well, there we go.
I love it. Some excitement. Linda,
Yes.
That was not very exciting in return. What's wrong with you today?
Nothing's wrong. I'm just like a little tiny bit slow. I'm having like a little hair of the dog. We went out last night with an old neighbor. It was amazing. And I stayed out way too late. And it was one of those like cigar bars where, it's really like swarthy and dark and amazing. And the cocktail waitress is so good that she comes in and she'll be like, can I get you another one? And you kind of like look up and pretty soon another cocktail is right there. So I don't normally drink a lot. And last night I had maybe one too many to the point where I got home and I've been in a cigar bar, but I did not shower. I climbed into my bed. So I've got to wash my sheets today. I had to like scrub my hair today. And, a little hair of the dog is exactly what I needed.
That sounds like fun.
It does
It
sound
was
like
super fun.
Is that why we're all like cocktailing with you today? A little. We're all like, we're going to help you. Be there with you to help you get over.
Thank you. I love the support.
We're supporting the supporting crew.
Yeah.
Happy to do it.
We're
Happy
all in
to
it
do it.
together. So girls, today we're going to have like a crazy episode. We're going to do everything but the kitchen sink. So normally we do like sort of a stream-like message, but today it's going to be all the things. So we're going to do like a little bit about like what's the buzz. We're going to talk about like TV and shows we're watching and internet and all the things. Give you like a little insight into some of the things that are like tugging at us emotionally. So it's going to be a fun episode. And we're looking forward to it. So let's jump in.
Before we jump in, though, just a quick reminder, please subscribe, rate, review us at wherever you're getting your pods. So, Linda, what are you watching?
Are you guys watching the show? Season 4 of Only Murders in the Building.
Oh, yeah.
So I have watched it, but I have not started this season yet.
Okay, you are going to be happy. Like season 3, I was like, it's fine. I love season 1 and 2. 3 was okay to me. 4, I'm really enjoying. So It made me think of like other things I've been watching and trying to catch up on too.
Yeah.
Like what?
What have you guys watched? Well, I just finished Beef, this TV show Beef, which is like, I think it's like a Korean show, but it's it's actually a very wild show. And I ended up not watching the very last because I was like so overwhelmed by these people. But it starts off with this like road rage incident, and then it just spirals out of control. Like these people have like lost their minds and they go after each other, and it's like all the things. And then I finished up Emily in Paris.
Oh, I mean, I'm watching that.
I watched that.
Have you done? Are you done?
Yeah.
I am done. Yes.
I have mixed feelings about it. I have mixed feelings about it because they kind of like messed up the Gabrielle character for me.
I know. Gabrielle is so cute.
He's so cute. He was so cute, but now he's such a weenie.
I know. He needs to get back to his old self,
And
in my opinion.
like, is it now going to be Emily in Rome? Like, what's going on there? Could be.
I don't
We
know.
don't
That
know.
new character is pretty cute, though.
He's
Emily.
yummy.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's yummy.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think that there's any reviving Gabrielle for me. I just feel like you can't behave that way. And like, I don't want to be with you. Like, when you behave that way.
You've blown it.
He was kind of a weenie leaving her on the
He
slope.
was.
I mean,
100%.
Super bad form.
And also, like, what is wrong with you? You need to go see a therapist. This like character, go see a pretend therapist, because
I mean,
like, you are okay with being lied to from me, and you're totally fine with it, but yet you're lashing out at Emily. So I just can't. Like, you need some help, and I don't know
you
what
know
else
what,
to say.
Therapist Nancy, you are right.
yeah.
Something's wrong with
You
you.
are
Kimmy
right.
disappointed me. She
Me
disappointed
too.
me.
That was such a drag.
If I can say that, I'm just.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then Sarah, our oldest, and I watched Hacks.
I love
that's-
Hacks.
And it won all these Emmys.
Yes.
And we were so happy about it because it was so like
Yes.
witty and interesting
Yes.
and different and fun. So
Yes.
if our listeners have not watched Hacks, it's so like
Yes.
in a way relevant because it's trying to bridge these different generations in a very funny, kind of in your face way. And I thought it was very smart. I really liked it a lot.
And also,
Yeah.
I think it depicts show business really well. I mean, it's a brutal business.
Yes, it's awful.
Brutal. Yes. So it's a very, very, very
yeah.
good show. I like it too.
It's super good. Yeah. And then Shogun, I started watching, but I haven't finished. I know that swept at the Emmys.
Yeah.
My husband and Sarah, my oldest, watched it. She like dials into the good shows kind of quickly. So, but I've watched like 4 episodes, and that is really, really good too.
I think you got me watching The Perfect Couple.
Oh.
Yes, I finished that.
Just like quite the buzz lately.
Yes.
Around Pennsylvania area, it is the buzz.
Yes. That is the
And
buzz.
there's a book too. So I have a friend that says, "Don't talk to me about it because I'm reading the book." But I actually enjoyed watching it. I thought
I enjoyed it too. I really enjoyed it, and I was surprised. And in fact, I saw it on my streaming service. I think it's on Netflix. And I didn't click on it for ages because I was like, I'm sort of over Nicole Kidman, but I love Liv Schreiber. Okay, I'm going to watch it.
Yeah.
I thought it was very clever.
Did you think the
Shockingly
beginning?
clever.
I saw something in the news that the beginning song,
The dance.
when they're dancing and they're
Yes.
all, I loved it.
Yes.
I thought
I
that
loved
was
it
so
too.
fun.
But it's like causing a stir. People are like, that's so cliche and so weird. I'm like, what are you talking about? The Coons Girls dance at every event.
Like, how fun would that be to like have a formal dance that everybody did? I mean, it'd be
Yeah,
cool.
we do that for all of our like big events. We do it. I mean, we don't have that many people, but I think it was fun. I think,
I have to check it out.
Cool.
We haven't seen it yet, but Tim, he actually asked if I want to watch it last weekend. We didn't, but it's on my radar to watch. So we'll have to, maybe this weekend we'll get to it.
Yeah, I mean, it's cute.
Yeah, I think it is.
It's a murder mystery.
So
you know that. It's good.
I wanted to circle back to, I don't know if you guys remember the podcast last week, and Linda brought up the word mindfulness and how much she did not like mindfulness, the word. She's like, excuse me, I'm going to use mindfulness, but I don't like this word. And I think I was taken back that you had such a reaction to mindfulness that it made me think of this comedian. And I have to look down at what his name is. Dash Bishop is his name. And he has this thing, on Instagram about mindfulness, and it is so flippin' funny. I'm gonna put it in the show notes, and I sent it to you, Linda, and it made me think of you so hard because this guy's like, when I was growing up, nobody knew what mindfulness was. I was a guru before I had my smartphone, and I didn't even know it. Waiting for my mom and dad to pick me up, mindfulness, like using the bathroom. I'm just focused on the bathroom. Mindfulness, like it's seriously so funny.
But being
so
present,
funny.
he was so funny about it. But I think for me, it's like, it's such a yoga term. I've done yoga for years. I do love it, but I feel like it's so overworked. Like, why do we always have to flip in, like, remind ourselves to think? I think that's my thing. It's like, okay, it is a good word, but it's so overused. Why do we have to remind ourselves to think? Come on. Like, let's get with it. It's annoying. It's an annoying word.
I mean, I don't know. Like, I think because we're pulled in so many different directions, and it's just like, be present, be in the moment. You don't have to always. Right. You don't always have to be looking. Yes,
pay attention, people.
Be in the moment.
I think these devices make you not pay attention.
Right.
That's what I think.
Well, they're little computers everywhere.
What he's saying. This comedian goes on and on about how, like, we never used to have computers in our pocket. We had to pay attention to what was going on so we wouldn't miss the bus. We had to, like, we were mindful, just like we didn't even know what that word was. We just were.
Yeah. But I'm trying to say, even if you're trying to be mindful, you can't, because you have this device always in your space.
I don't know what a replacement word would be, but I'm over it. So here are the dog number 2.
I actually love this for you, that you're like totally on board. So we decided that because we can't get together in real life, that when we got together today, that we would also have a cocktail and pretend like we're all meeting out at a bar or, having dinner, sitting out on the patio, and we would just have a cocktail with us. So,
Yeah, I love it. I mean, I love a good cocktail. I don't normally have cocktail after cocktail for like 12 hours. That's where I am right now. 12 hours. I'm 12 hours in. I mean, I tried to sleep it's not consistent, but it's not pretty.
I mean, I feel like if it's not an everyday occurrence, it's not a big deal. Like, it's fun to kind of let down your hair sometimes, especially if you don't have anywhere to be. Like, life is short.
Yeah. So my friends kind of told me I should watch this show, Inventing Anna, and I did. And I actually just watched it by myself. Peter didn't watch this series with me at all. Have you guys seen this show?
Yes. Mm-mm. Tim and I watched it when it first came out. Yes. Yes.
Yeah. I mean,
I know what it's about, and I, for whatever reason, have no interest in watching it. So I just didn't.
Yeah.
I
think it's getting critical acclaim. Yeah.
I think I was interested in watching it because I was like, how did this person swindle all these smart businessmen? Like, what happened here? Like, so I was interested in it.
Yeah, I get it. It's like watching a train wreck. You can't stop. You have to watch and see how it happens.
Totally.
Yeah. I mean, this young woman moved to New York in like 2013, and she pretended that she was an heiress, like a very wealthy woman that had this trust fund. And she created all these financial documents and tricked banks, tricked, all of her relationships into thinking that she had all this money.
Right.
She came up with this idea to start this club and an arts foundation and got all these people to be invested in this thing. And I mean, it's just, and she stayed at all these lavish hotels and just like, she was just a complete phony.
But she's an artist. She's a con artist. Yeah, she's a criminal.
100%. Yeah.
I mean, it went on for years, and she got arrested in 2017, and they found her guilty. And she was supposed to spend I think 4 to 12 years in jail, but she only had to spend 2 years in jail, and they released her in, I think, October of 22. But the thing why I even brought it up is it bugs me because she got this next Netflix deal. They paid her $320,000 for the rights of her story.
Right.
And now she, this September, is on Dancing with the Stars.
Yeah.
And she has to wear an ice monitor ankle bracelet, so it's not like she's free and clear. But still, why do we like hold these people on a pedestal? Like she's some great phenom or something. Like I don't get it.
I don't know.
I don't know if it's that. It's more like the circus show, like back in the, like whenever it's like the circuit, she's the freak and everybody kind of
But
wants
it's
to
like,
see.
why do
Like,
we?
is she a normal person? How did she do this? Like, people are fascinated by people that break the rules. They are. I mean,
But people want to like support her
weird.
and give her money, and it's like
I know,
the
it's
everyday
weird.
person just doing their job,
I don't know.
struggles, and like we're
Right.
supporting someone like that you can't even trust.
Right.
Right.
Why do
I
we do that?
I agree.
Uh,
And what I find fascinating about the whole thing is ICE is nothing to mess with, right? It's immigration. We care very deeply about immigration. Why would ICE let her compete on the show? That's what I have such a
Well,
disconnect
why
with.
would Dancing with the Stars want her on in the first place?
Right. Well, because we're talking about it, right? Because we are talking about it. And, it maybe is bringing in viewership because people are trying to get people to
People are
click on it.
fascinated. Yeah.
Right? So it's ratings. It all comes down to like what sells, whether, and we're talking about it. So buzz and what sells. So Dances with
It's
the Stars is,
disgusting, in my opinion, but
They need to put Joe, like this everyday Joe, on Dancing with the Stars. Is my opinion.
Yeah, would people watch it? I don't know. I mean, I would. Like you always, I like to root for an underdog though. Like, I don't know.
Like the American Idol.
I agree.
I used
Kathy, I was
to
gonna
watch that
say.
years ago. There was a guy on there. I think he was a painter, and he came on the show, and like everyone was like, "Oh my gosh, you actually have talent."
I mean,
and
I was just going to say maybe Three Little Fishes could be invited onto this show.
Okay, so I'm not ever going to be on Dancing with the Stars or like The Voice or America's Talent or anything like that because I'm not coordinated enough for anything.
Peter and I did take a dancing class. We have taken a dancing class before we got married.
I just love this so much of how much you've gotten Peter to do. Like Peter doesn't cook, but yet
He
went
never
to
says no to Kathy.
he went to
Princess Kathy can ask for anything.
That is not true, but we did do this dancing class, and it was fun.
I'm sure he had the time of his life.
You know what? That kind of makes me hot, like nervousness, like thinking about doing a dance class because I am not coordinated in that way. Like
I'm not
I could do some sports stuff, but like dancing has never been my thing. And I'm sure, and Tim is coordinated that way. And I'm sure he's would be like, Nancy, you'd be terrible. And I would probably be stepping on his feet the whole entire time. So I'm not sure that would be a win for us for a date night.
I agree. Like my husband is a very coordinated person and I am not a coordinating person. So I think it would be a disastrous evening out. That we can do other things, not that. That's a no. But I wish I could because it's amazing. I mean, I love it when people dance.
They try and break it down so it's, easy to understand.
Simple for the simpletons out there that are uncoordinated, like Nancy.
1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3.
I do. I mean, maybe it would work out. I mean, I don't know. Like I'm watching Johanna take dance lessons and she literally loves it so hard. She loves it, but I'm not sure that she is taken after her dad. I suspect she's taken more after me. So we'll just see how that pans out, how this is going to pan out.
Right.
But she loves it and she finds lots of joy from it. So
I relate to this, Johanna. I relate to you. I hear you. I feel you. I get it. Yeah. Speaking of your kiddos, so what were I know the answer to this, Nancy, and I want you to tell us about Riley's homecoming ask because we have homecoming here too. Like it's all things homecoming. Like the floats are being made. There are all these flower making parties. It's all happening.
Yeah.
And we're really kind of not participating because we're not going to be here. We're going to be in Toronto next week for hockey. So we're not really doing homecoming this fall, but I know you are. So tell us, how did it go?
So Riley surprised me actually this week because he went to homecoming last year, but he just went with a group of friends. So, and now this year he's a sophomore, and he came home the other day from school and was like, "Mom, if I when I come home, would you be willing to take me to get some supplies? Because I want to make a poster for homecoming proposal." And I was like, "Oh," I'm like, "Sure." I would sure, I'll do that. I was surprised because he hasn't really mentioned it. Like I knew he wanted to go to homecoming, but I just assumed it would just be like he did last year. So I get him from school and we go to Michael's and he like picks up stuff. And I'm like, well, do you have a plan of what this looks like? Like, who is she? Like, is she a sophomore? Like, try not to ask too many questions, but also I'm interested.
It's a tightrope walk.
Yes, yes. And I'm not doing a great job with it. I'm trying my best, but it's hard. So I'm like, do you have an idea? He's like, yes, I have an idea. I'm like, great. So what do you need? He's like, I don't know, Mom. What do you think I need? I don't
Tell
know.
me your vision.
Like, what is your like? And then he's like, I don't know. He's just like, she's a soccer player, and I'm like, okay. Like, so you want soccer balls? Like, I'm not like, what do you have? Can you show me a picture? Did you go on Pinterest?
Yeah.
Like, no, I didn't do any of that, Mom. Whatever you think I need, Mom. I'm like, well, do you want stickers? Like, anyway. Long story short, we leave there with like $50 worth of supplies. And I was like, okay, well, if you don't use any of these supplies, because he's not a crafty person, we'll take them back. Because I'm like, we're just like kind of throwing anything at the wall is what I felt like. So Tim and I actually had plans that night, and he put together this poster, and he was going to take it to school the next day, which again, I was impressed with. I'm like, you're taking this, my kid who, is kind of more of an introvert is going to take this prom proposal poster board to school. Homecoming. And he's like, yeah, homecoming. What did I say? Prom? Homecoming. Yeah. And he's like, yes, I'm just going to take it to school. And I'm like, okay. So he's like, I'm going to work on it when you and Dad are gone. And then right before I'm getting ready to walk out the door, he's like, I brag about your cookies. Will you make chocolate chip cookies so I can attach it to this proposal? I was like, oh, I'm like, okay, sure.
So she's like a special date. So she gets the cookies.
So I was like, okay, I will wake up early tomorrow and I will make these cookies for you. So we get home and he finished the poster, and it actually looked really nice. It looked really like
super cute.
It was really thoughtful and really sweet. Yeah. And he opened
up it to school.
And he opened up all the supplies. So we're not returning any of the stuff to Michael's. He used a little bit of everything, like 2 little things from every little package. Yeah. But it did turn.
You've got 2 more years. You've got promposals coming. You're going to use all that shit. Don't worry.
Well, anyway, how did he present the cookies?
So then he had like a little bag, like we had a little cellophane bag, and I tied a little bow to it because I was trying to be cute about it.
You had that at home.
Yeah. So then he went to school, and when I picked him up, I was like, so he didn't have anything with him, so he clearly gave it to her. He's like, oh yeah, she said yes. And he's like, and she gave me a hug, and I think she's excited. Aww. And she tried your cookies, Mom, and she said they were so good. And I'm like, okay. And I'm like, so do you guys think you're going to go, like hesitating to ask, like, are you going to go with a group of kids? Like, what do you guys have a plan? He's just like, I don't know. Why are you always trying to plan? And I'm like, well, I just was curious. However you want to do it, we're happy to drive you. Just let us know. But I hated to ask any more questions than that.
I mean, you know what is so funny too, Kathy? You can relate, I think. Like the girls plan all the stuff. Like the boys ask, and then the girls take over and they plan everything. I don't know if this is what happens at your place, Kath, but here in the South, Southern girls plan everything. And they plan where the pictures are taken, what time the pictures are taken, where you're having dinner, where the after party is. They do it all.
Yeah, I think we have something similar for sure. Like, for instance, my son is a senior this year, and they're talking about going on a senior trip, and it is being led by one of the girls.
Oh,
Like the girl and her mother kind of have coordinated with the other girls, and then they kind of said, "Hey, everybody, this is kind of what we're thinking." I'm like, okay.
here we
So,
go.
yeah.
Do parents go on these trips, or is it just you're sending your 18-year-olds off
No, I'm
by
going.
themselves?
I'm going.
Yeah.
For this trip, I don't know. I think my husband would go, but there are some other dads going as well. So if he chooses not to go, they're not going to be by themselves.
I'm actually more fun than Rich when it comes to like going on trips. Now, this is weird because he is the fun guy in the house. Like, he's the rule breaker. He's the one that will be like, let's go eat ice cream for dinner. Like, he's my party guy. But when it comes to like kids and parties, he's more strict than I am. So, like,
Oh,
I do spring break, I do fall break, and I keep my finger on like what's happening. But I think because I spend so much time with these boys, they kind of get it. And like, I'm not like super, super strict, and especially now they're all big. So we're going to the Dominican Republic for spring break, and that's our senior trip this year. And we're going with like a huge group of people, and the moms are going.
Yeah, you
And
guys
that's
are
fun.
fancy. You guys are
I
fancy.
mean,
See, I think Peter is like, we're probably the opposite. I think Peter's more of a party guy with the kids when they're all around. And I'm always
yeah,
like nervous, like, oh my
yeah.
gosh, we shouldn't probably be doing that with this kid
I
because
mean,
their mom is like super strict.
I know.
Yeah.
Well,
And then
I will
it
tell
makes me
you.
like anxious,
Yeah. I
But
mean, so last spring break, we were at the beach with the boys, and I rented a house with two other moms, and we had like all these boys, and we had this huge bunk room. And so it was like one, two, three, four, like six boys, but there was three moms. And one guy, he's in college now, he's a little bit older. He played hockey on Jack's like travel team. And he's just like a wild child. And every day I would be like, please, you guys, blah, blah, blah. I would give the speech. So one morning,
Was this the speech? Don't make life, don't take life. Go have fun.
try to be smart, don't get arrested, like do all the things, have fun, but like, and be home by midnight. Like, that was kind of my thing, like be home by midnight. So they would get home by midnight, and the moms and we would all go to bed. Well, I found out this one bonus kid that I had last year. He was so funny. He sent a picture. He had a girl down there at the beach that he was
Ooh.
visiting, and he got back at 4 in the morning. And
Oh
at
boy.
3 in the morning, he was like hiding in the bathroom cabinet from the dad that was there. And he took a picture of himself. And he's this grown man, like 6'1", he has like squashed himself in the cabinet, and he took a selfie. The next morning, I was like, so what's going on today? Like, what's happening? Blah, blah, blah. He was like, well, I'm kind of tired, but what happened? He shows me the selfie of him squashed in this cabinet. And I was like, dude, listen, I'm glad you made it home safe, but you can't be doing shit like that. Like, what if you didn't make it home? Like, I wouldn't have any idea where you are. That's not cool. You can't do that to me. Don't do that anymore. You
Were
hear
they
me?
out to like
Yes.
find him or something? Like, I know there's a boy in here.
Because all the boys were asleep, and he was out with this girl until 4 in the morning. He came back to the like house at 4 in the morning. I had no idea.
Oh boy.
But I mean, I don't know. What am I going to do? It all worked out.
I might
Thankfully.
send Peter. I'm not going.
Well, I'm glad that Riley has this fun thing that he's
Yeah.
doing. I'm glad it worked out. That's fun. I love this. And I mean, it's your last time you're driving him.
I know, it's weird, right? It's
Yeah.
really weird.
So, Kath, are your boys going to go to homecoming?
We haven't even talked about it because, we're like a few weeks behind you guys. So
You guys, I want to just totally switching gears on you. I wanted to circle back. I made homemade like grass repair. Remember this?
Yes.
I
Yes.
shredded toilet paper. I put grass seed in a big
Yes.
bucket with water.
Yeah.
So I did it. I'm going to tell you it works. And I don't know
Oh.
if it's like the toilet paper or if it's the soaking of the seeds, but it worked and like it sprouted and we have this amazing grass in the places I did it. But I
Oh,
will
awesome.
say it smells terrible and it was a lot of work to spread it because it's like this big bucket of smelly, like soaked grass seed. So I had 2 huge bags and I was like, okay, after the first bag, I thought,
Well, wet toilet paper can make a mess, right?
well, it's on a roll, you're tearing it, like took a long time. And I was like, this sucks. So I was like, okay, the second bag, I'm just going to spread like overseed in the yard like a normal person. The overseeding did not work nearly as well as soaking the seeds with the toilet paper. So
Really? Because
that
we
is
have to do that. We have to do that in our yard. We have some areas that our puppy is like destroyed
yes,
part of our yard.
But I mean, I don't know if the toilet paper is necessary. I think it's the soaking of the grass seed for a day and then spreading it that makes the difference.
Oh,
It really worked well, but I had to go to Home Depot and buy more. And can I just vent right now? Like, I'm checking out at Home Depot and they're asking me to donate to like their philanthropy, whatever charity so it's
this is
and I got to tell you, then I had to go to the Petco and they did the same thing. It was like, do you want to give $1, $5, $10, $20? No thanks to their charity.
yeah.
Then I went to the grocery store and they wanted me to round up for something. So it was like 3 things in one day. And I was like, you know what? I'm sick of people asking for tips all the time.
The tipping is out of control.
Or you need to contribute to your philanthropy.
Yeah.
And it's smart on their part, and I get it. But I find it very irritating. Like, stop asking for more money.
It even happens at fast food places. You're like, I'm standing here in line. What is it you're doing for me? And you want me to tip you?
Yes.
Like, I'm already paying for the food. Like, I don't know how I feel about this. It makes me uncomfortable.
Well, it makes me feel like a bad person if I say no thanks this time, but I'm at the grocery all the time. If I added it all up and I did it every single time, it would be so much money.
Yeah.
And it makes me feel bad. But like, also, why are you doing this to me? It's annoying.
Well, what is your feeling on like fast food, tipping the people?
If I am physically having to go pick it up, like I've driven there, I'm going to pick it up, I feel like I do not have to tip. Now, some people would say, well, they had to pack it. But I would also say that they're supposed to at least get a wage for being there. So like, if you're not like giving me service, like a tip used to be for like table service. And if you were happy, it was supposed to be extra. If you were super happy with your server, if you're super happy with your server, here, give them an extra, show them some extra love. But now I feel like a lot of times these businesses bake in just a base salary and then a tip is part of their take home. But to me, doesn't seem right. Like, I don't think I should be responsible for making sure that they get a living wage. And also fast food and like getting pizza or whatever it is, it's not inexpensive anymore. Like for my family of 4 to go have pizza, or if I'm picking up pizza, it's like $50. It's like $50. Yes. So it's like, and that's me not eating at the restaurant. It's just me taking it. So I really struggle with everything. With everything's increasing and cost has increased. You know, the restaurants and fast food and, you know, grocery stores, and everybody keeps saying, well, the cost of living's gone up. Yes, the cost of living has gone up, but
because everyone wants your money.
Right. But not necessarily all these wages are. So I don't think it's my responsibility to make sure that you as a business owner, you know, it's not my responsibility to help this business owner, you know, take care of his employees. Like, I want to be able to do that because I feel like, oh yes, you did such a great job taking care of us at this table. Thank you so much. I really do appreciate all your hustle. and then I'm happy to do it. But if I'm doing some of the work, I don't think I should have to spend extra.
I mean, I kind of feel like the food industry is one thing because traditionally in America, we don't give like a ton of money to food servers. So tip is sort of expected in the United States where it's not in Europe. But what I'm really struggling with is not only if they're not asking for extra tip, like everywhere.
Right.
It's ridiculous.
Right.
I have to tell you this.
For like money for philanthropy.
Right.
Yeah.
Stop it.
Right.
Well, I have to tell you this. I have to take a CPR class tomorrow. And it was expensive for me to take it. I have to do it for my licensure. And at the end, they asked if I want to put a tip on there. And I'm like,
for the service you've already paid for.
That's
online?
It's online, right? It's not even in person. It's online.
So this time I usually go in person, but this time I decided to do it online, and it's going to be a Zoom thing. But
no, I would not tip. That's ridiculous.
Okay, I ended up tipping because don't tell anybody. Peter.
Are you whispering for Peter's sake?
I need him to pass me. It's like I feel like if I don't tip him or her, like, are they going to be like, oh, you didn't do that correctly?
So you feel pressure.
Yeah. So they're asking you. They're asking you to tip them before you've even taken the class. The service hasn't even happened yet, and they're like, pay for the class plus tip me, which I don't even know how this class is going to go. It feels kind of gross, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
It sounds like, I mean, I think a lot of
pass.
You will.
I hope I do too.
And I'm sure that extra tip will really make the difference. But
it is ridiculous. I feel like we've gotten out of hand. Somewhere along the way, something has happened.
Well, I mean, I understand the efficiency for businesses of this philanthropy element of tipping and not tipping and like giving to their charities. But just because it's available, I don't know that it should be utilized all the time. I mean, pretty soon I feel like I'm going to be pumping gas and they're going to ask me to tip the machine because it let me get gas.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, you're paying for something. What is it we're paying for?
Well, gift giving fatigue is a real thing, right? And I feel like I definitely also have it as well, like having all the school functions and like now Riley's like high school soccer team needs something, Johanna's elementary school needs something. And it's like, I feel like we already spend so much money in these areas. I really struggle with why can't these be more funded better, that it's not on the backs of all these parents to have to keep giving so much. I find
there's so many like little corners to deal with on this level. I just find it very annoying.
Yes.
It's very stressful.
And then you have to give to the teachers. Like our school, they do something for the teachers when it's their birthday. Hey class, guess what? It's such and such birthday. Can you donate $25 so we can give this person, a basket and a cake? And like, I'm not kidding. So it's like, okay, well then like people talk. So it's like, I think
financial fatigue is it's real.
It's like it's a lot. Real. It's a lot. So you guys, I'm going to really quickly switch gears because I want to ask you this question. So who made the news this week is Justin Timberlake. Did you guys see this? That Justin Timberlake over the summer was arrested for DUI in the Hamptons.
Yep. Yes,
and then
saw that.
He just had his court appearance and he just did they just worked out probation or whatever his deal was. Mm-hmm. And he did this press conference. Did y'all see it? Where he kind of was falling all over his words a little bit. It almost felt like the judge said, go out in front of the camera and tell the kids not to drink anything or drive. Because he kind of took responsibility, but not really. Like, here's what I would say to you out there. If you have one drink, that's one drink too many. Call an Uber, whatever, which was a fine message. But I also felt like it felt a little flat and it felt like, were you really taking responsibility? You didn't take a sobriety test. It's because you were going to blow super high. it was just I was just curious what you guys thought about it.
It's such a tricky thing because drinking alcohol, and I did it last night. We Ubered, by the way.
I'm glad to hear you Ubered since you were
such a part of
overserved.
our society. Yes. So we always Uber, and we have really, I think our children are in that like age group where they give designated drivers and all the things.
I hope so.
But it doesn't mean people don't make mistakes. So I do feel like this was a big error. I do feel like, he probably got a little bit of grace because he's so famous. I do think there's an element of that. I hope that he uses this wisely as a platform, and he is remember Reese Witherspoon years ago? She got pulled over here in Nashville because she lives here in Nashville.
Yes.
Wasn't that her husband though? I thought it was her.
Well, her ex-husband got pulled over, but they had been out, and she was drunk. He was drunk.
Yeah.
Or overserved. I don't even know if you're drunk. But she was like, "Don't you know who I am?" And then she fell on her sword in a very powerful way. And she
did. I thought so.
Never in a million years should have said that. That was embarrassing. Was overserved. I apologize. I don't think Justin Timberlake fell on his sword in that way. And I wish he would have been a little bit more humble about it. But hopefully he takes this opportunity to say, I'm not going to do that again. I'm totally going to have a car. And whatever. I think sobriety is such a trend right now too, which I love. Like Tom Holland has said, I gave up alcohol for a month and then it was still really hard for me. So I tried another month and it was still really hard for me. And he's like, I acknowledge because it was so hard for me, I must have a problem with it. So I'm just not going to drink alcohol anymore.
Yeah.
It doesn't serve me. And I think, that's a powerful message for a lot of people to hear. And I wish, some of these celebrities, when they fall down, they would be a little bit more humble about it and more acknowledging that, maybe you made a mistake.
Yeah. It's what a wonderful platform, right? I think I was just a tiny bit I am a fan.
You're disappointed.
I think I'm a little disappointed that I think he could have, used that moment. And I wish I wanted more from him.
If you're giving grace, you got a free pass.
Yes.
Not everybody gets that pass you got. So use it and make it a powerful moment and teach yourself and everybody else around you. I made a mistake. Don't do this. Don't follow my example.
Yes.
Right.
You got a free pass. You're welcome.
100%. Yeah. Okay, y'all, what's for dinner?
Typically on Friday night would be pizza, but tonight it's going to be sheet pan chicken fajita. So we'll put the link in the show notes. I'm a big sheet pan dinner person, and this one is actually super easy and delicious and high in protein. I love my protein, so check it out.
Sounds delicious. Well, we want to thank you for listening to our podcast and letting us sisters jump into your day. Please make sure to follow, rate, and review us. We would love to have your feedback. Also, please share our podcast with at least 3 of your favorite little fishes so we can grow. Have a wonderful weekend. Sisters out.